All right. Welcome back, everybody, to the third video in the Unfound Anamnesis YouTube channel. I'm Dylan. You get to see me this week. Fun fact for this video, this is all happening on the same night, and I'm just scheduling these as they go out. I've just changed shirts. I've wore 3 different shirts as we go through. I probably shouldn't have told you this, but often this magician reveals his secrets. In this video, so last video that you watched, if you haven't watched last video, this video probably won't make a lot of sense. So I encourage you, go back, watch video number 2. It was called The Power of 3. I gave you 3 different paths. And then I asked you 3 questions. Now, if we recall, the paths were guy, lady, they wake up, look at all of existence, everything that God, the universe has to offer them. And each path, they're incredibly thankful. First path, the guy is filled with nothing but curiosity and says, what can I make of this? Second path, guy is filled with nothing but wonder and says, how can I understand this? And the third path is guys filled with nothing but love and said, how can I preserve everything that you've given me or I have in this life for myself and the people around me? Now I'm going to tell you, and then I asked you 3 questions. The first question was, what path do you feel you're walking down right now in your life? Second question, what path do you feel you were born into? You can't really control a lot of that stuff. You're born into a certain path, right? And then the third question is like, if you could go back, humor me, and you and the universe, you and God are talking in the cosmos, and you're saying, hey, I'm going down to this world. I want to walk one of these paths my entire life to experience it to the fullest. And I need you to give me something so I can't forget. God gives you something. What path would you choose? What path would you want to walk down for your entire life until next time, right? This time around. So now we're going to go into it so you can learn more about Bastunia. But before we do that, I have to ask, please like, please subscribe, comment at the end of this. Share this on social media, even if you think I'm crazy and this is dumb, because maybe your friends don't think it's dumb. So please comment, like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And if you stick to the end of the video, you're going to be able to ask certain questions that are going to help potentially bring our main characters to life. So Bastunia is the world we're living in. And anytime you have a fictional world, you kind of give yourself a premise. And the premise is a what if statement, right? What if we lived in a dystopian future where everyone was divided up into districts and the fate of the districts relied on children fighting to the death? Hunger Games. So the premise of Bastunia lies in the last question that I asked you in the last video, which is, if you could do this all again, you could walk one of these paths your entire life, and God gave you something. I talked about my stone, which I still have because I haven't moved. It's been the same day, Sunday here. God gave you the stone. Anytime you touch the stone, it reminds you to walk that path. You live your whole life walking that one path. The premise of Bastunia exists in that question. And the premise is, what if we lived in a world where we knew our calling from birth? And in this fictional world, the God of this world gifts each person born into Bastunia with a spiritual beast that signifies that person's calling. These beasts, spiritual beasts, are actually called callings. So anytime this person looks at this calling, they know what they were put here to do. And there's 3 paths. The first path, the curiosity and what can I make of it, is what we call the path of the builder. These spiritual beasts can create matter out of matter. So these are the beasts that are creating the crazy big skyscrapers and the buildings and the infrastructures of each of these, societies and cities. It relies on the builder. They're also the artists. They're creating works of art that outlast them, and their beast signifies that. So this person, as they go through their daily life, anytime they look at their beast, they're like, my beast can build stuff. I'm a builder. Second path, which is the guy's filled nothing but wonder. How can I understand it? Is what we call in Bastunia the path of the explorer. The explorer beasts are the winged beasts, or the beasts that can dive to incredible depths, the beasts that can run great distances. And the explorer's job is to go and understand this world of Bastunia, travel near, far, high, low, to really create the map that is existence for all the people of Bastunia. They're the philosophers of their time. In their travels, they think of the great philosophies and the great lessons to teach, and they come back with that. And that's the explorer's job, is to be filled with wonder and go seek and understand. And the third path is the path of the defender. Um, in this world, there are outside entities called the Azigra that are constantly coming in from the cosmos above, the darkness of the cosmos above, to attack the people of Bastunia. And those that are born with defender beasts have the badass knight-like looking beasts that protect society, ward off the Azigra, and destroy this incoming threat because they love their brothers and sisters of this world. For the longest time, people walk down different paths. Some people will have three beasts: explorer, builder, and defender. And after a while with creation, what happened is God wanted to throw a curveball to the society of Bastunia, and God said, what if some people were born with no calling and didn't know their calling at birth? And what incurred was chaos. One in every five people were born without a calling, and they kind of descended into madness. They didn't know what they're here for, constantly looking for their purpose. And those that were born with beasts, beastborns, or people that have callings, almost looked down on someone that was born without a calling. Didn't go well. And as the time continued to go on, God actually took its eye off the ball. And God's fighting a greater war. So when God took its eye off the ball, people started to be born with only one beast and no second or third path in their life. And they walked that path true. What created was a bit of separation. Builders stuck with builders, explorers stuck with explorers, defenders stuck with defenders, and only a few people stayed in what we call Main City. Super creative, I know. But there existed a small area in Main City where people stuck together. Time went on, wasn't great. And then God left, abandoned the people of Bastunia. And for the last 15 years now, no one's been born with a calling. And as you could imagine, it's been utter madness, utter chaos. People don't know what to do, and they're looking for something or someone to bring God back. And there is a hero of the time who is actually born with four beasts. His defender beasts were twins. So he's the only person in Bastunia that actually had four beasts in his life. And he's the hero of the society. And people look to him for advice. They seek him, say, what should we do? And he's a charismatic leader. He's the charismatic hero of society. He said, hey, don't worry. God hasn't abandoned us. God is just missing. And I'm going to bring God back. And I know where he could be. He's at the top of this great mountain that no one's been able to summit. I've dedicated most of my life to try to summit it. And he's like, don't worry, I will go out and bring the God back. And he dedicates his life, 7 years of his life, leaves Main City to go summit this mountain to bring the God back and bring peace back to Bastunia. And in this time, he leaves his home, he leaves his wife, and he leaves his daughter. And as he's gone, he creates this band of kind of a team to summit the mountain together. His wife and daughter are left in Main City, and his wife slowly goes mad as the years tick away. She felt, one, that she was called for greatness, and he's taking all this glory. And two, she's stuck being at home raising a child on her own. That's difficult. And for her, she slowly starts to go mad, slowly starts to go insane. And she reaches a breaking point where she says, I can't do this anymore. And she leaves. She leaves her daughter. Daughter starts to grow up with the neighbor and now has no dad, no mom. So the daughter has this disdain for her father and for all beastborns, these people that have callings that look down on those with no beasts and no callings. She hates her dad. She hates Beastborns. Her dad, pushing his way to the top of the mountain, finally achieves his goal, gets to the top of the mountain to find nothing's there. God wasn't there this whole time. He dedicated 7 years of his life for nothing. There's nothing he can find up there other than a really small seed. And he just holds on to it just for any hope, puts it in his pocket, and he goes back to Maine City, a failure and a laughing stock. These people say, hey, we trusted you. We looked to you. You said you knew where he was, and you're coming back empty handed. We're screwed. And he comes home to a wife that's left him and a daughter that hates him. He's an utter failure. And he takes the seed that he found and he fashions it to a necklace and gives it to his daughter to wear. It's like, hey, your dad tried. And his daughter wears it every single day, not as a testament to her father, but as a constant reminder that he failed and she will be better. That's it. No. So this book and this series begins right now. And the main character is actually Joan, the daughter of this great hero. She wants to be the best that she can be, despite not having a calling. And she's willing to prove it. She goes throughout her day-to-day life. We learn about the society that we're in. And we learn that people don't really like Joan because she has to be the best no matter what. And the only person that likes her is this underclassman at her school that thinks they're best friends, and she doesn't give him the time of day. Until one day, she's walking home from school, and this young man is in a little bit of trouble. Two older kids, both that have callings, they're over 15, are giving him a hard time and are picking on him. And Joan comes in to basically tell these kids to buzz off. They're already acting as they're better than other people, and they're not having it. Fight incurs. I won't tell you who wins, but at the end of it, something weird starts to happen with the seed on Joan's neck. And she runs home with her best friend, Artie, to her dad, James. And as she comes in, the seed starts to glow. It explodes. And out of the seed comes not only the first beast of our time that's been gifted for the last 15 years, it's actually the missing God. And it's up to Joan and Artie and James to bring the God back to its rightful place. And what we will find happening is Joan needing to bring her own team together to reach the top of the mountain, and go into each of these paths, the path of the builder, the path of the defender, the path of the explorer, to understand them more and summit the top of the mountain to bring the God back. There'll be twists and turns as we go throughout, but that's going to be the journey we're on. And in the next 3 months, we're going to be discussing how we go about creating that first chapter, so you can see the behind the scenes of a comic, of storyboarding, of plotting, of writing. Matt, my partner, will be writing each of the chapters, and then Evan, our illustrator, will be illustrating each of the chapters. You'll be able to see all of it come together. Now, my question for you is this: hearing where we're at, I'm curious your first impressions of James, Joan, and Artie. We're still creating them. The first arc is pretty much plotted out. And now we're creating that first book of the arc. Side note, for anyone that doesn't know comics, chapters are called books. So a book has about 20 to 25 pages, and books are called arcs. So there's about 12 to 15 books in an arc. That first arc of 15 books has been fully plotted out, storyboarded, and now we are creating book one in these next couple of months. So you'll see the growth of Joan, Artie, and James, but I am curious from now, what do you think they're like? What do you think their personalities are? Throw it in the comments below. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe. Follow us on Facebook. Like I said in the last video, we will only have this for a short period of time. And we're going to do a Facebook group so we can start to hear from the first followers of Bastunia. Hope you liked it. If you didn't like it, stop watching these. If you did like it, tell someone about it. Share it. Talk to people. Let us know in the comments. And we look forward to seeing you in the videos next week. Take care.